Alright, if you're watching this video, then you're probably wondering about the Clever Dragon, because it's probably coming up for whatever Iron Banner it happens to be. Well, let's let this serve as a little bit of a roll guide. We got Grasp of Malak up here. I'm just going to show you the ones in the archetype that you can actually get. We got Grasp of Malak, Clever Dragon, and the Waltz. These are the three main ones that you can get that are at relevant light level. So, just looking at the base stats, the Waltz is like kind of base. Just don't go for it. It's okay, but not as good as Grasp of Malak or Clever Dragon. As you can see, both Grasp of Malak and Clever Dragon go over 30 range, with Grasp of Malak being ever so slightly higher. The Clever Dragon has slightly higher stability, slightly worse reload time, slightly worse aim assist than Grasp of Malak. So Grasp of Malak overall, I feel like, is the slightly better one than Clever Dragon, but at the same time, let's take a look at all the roll possibilities here. You have a bunch of sights that are, some of them are good, a lot of them are bad, and then you have a bunch of crappy perks. Like, seriously, I had a Storm Danger Close, Exhumed, Rangefinder, Secret Round, Surrounded, Partial Refund. All those are just kind of bad. You have a bunch of perks here that are just really unappealing, and then this is just why. Guerrilla Fighter, Spray. The long story short, Grasp of Malak is great, and it's possible to have an absolute god roll with it. However, it's very unlikely that you'll get one of those god rolls. So the purpose of the Clever Dragon is you're gonna get a pretty good roll no matter what. It's gonna take a very strange turn of events for you to get a bad roll. The only real thing that I'm not a fan of on Clever Dragon, as far as base stats go, is the base equip speed. It is at 29, which is very much lower than Grasp of Malak's equip speed of 60. You can buff it up with some other things, I'll get into that in a second, but it's just, take note, it's going to be a little bit slower, like swapping to this. One of the great things about this is it has 3 sights, and they don't change. Iron Red Dot, fantastic sight, and if you like the other sights, go for it. They're all pretty good. All right, getting into the actual perks. So these two columns right here are this right here. So in the first one, you can get like Perfect Balance, Hammer Forge, Small Bore, or Send It, or you can pick between Hand Laid Stock, Injection Mold, Oiled Frame, and Brace Frame. What I generally will recommend, since it has pretty good stability on it, you don't necessarily have to get stability, but it sure will probably help, since it is a faster rate of fire pulse rifle. You're going to want to fire it really quickly. So what I'd probably recommend here is going for something like either brace frame or hand laid stock. If you go for hand laid stock, then I hope that we can get some other range increase later down the line, like rangefinder, but it's not necessary. Pulse rifles actually greatly benefit from range increasing perks just as much as stability. Cool Guy had put out a really fantastic video over on Planet Destiny, which you should probably watch if you're ever wanting to know about range and how it affects pulse rifles. Send It is another great perk to actually have on this. I'm a big fan of increasing the range on pulse rifles. Problem is, it decreases the handling speed, and it's already pretty low on this particular gun, and it will noticeably bring it down even more. So for like one-on-one primary fights, Send It is going to be really good if you already have your primary out. If you're having to swap to it or equip to it, it might not benefit you that much. Send It, it's good, but overall, I'd avoid it in most situations. Go for something like Brace Frame, since that will increase stability and it'll reduce the magazine size. And you can fix the low magazine size with a pair of pulse rifle reload gauntlets. All right. So for the second tree here, you have your choice. Really, don't go for lightweight or arm piercing rounds. Those are bleh. If your roll has like a bunch of really good stuff on it, but it has like lightweight or arm piercing rounds, it's okay. The ones that you really want to go for are high caliber rounds, and then either quick draw or snapshot. Both quick draw and snapshot will mess with the equip speed. It'll make it a lot faster. Quick draw particularly is the one that I'd probably go for. However, high caliber rounds on pulse rifles, especially faster firing ones, it's so good. It's just so good. Plus, it does up the range a little bit, which is really good. So in that second column of perks, I'd say high caliber rounds is probably the best thing you want to go for. So first column perk, get something like Brace Frame, maybe Perfect Balance as well, or Hammer Forge is also okay. And then high caliber rounds in the second one. Now for the final little perk things here, we have Counterbalance. Counterbalance is pretty good on this one. I'm not completely sold on it though, since the way counterbalance works is it's going to remove the side-to-side spread of your bullets, but it adds a little bit more vertical recoil to it, so it bounces up a little bit more. And if you have a low range stat, counterbalance may not be the best thing for you. Hidden hand, however, really good. Rangefinder, really good as well. Headseeker and Glass Half Full, I'm not the biggest fan of either of them. Headseeker's okay. Glass Half Full is kind of overrated, in my opinion. It's not going to do as much damage as you think it would. Outlaw, if you end up getting something that reduces your reload speed, Outlaw will be a fantastic way to make sure you reload quickly, and so will Feeding Frenzy as well. Unflinching, Secret Round, I'd pass on these. Life Support is okay. So of the final perks that you would possibly want to get, I'd say Hidden Hand and Rangefinder are both great options. Feeding Frenzy, Outlaw are also great options as well. Counterbalance, depending on how high of a stability roll you have, then you can probably go for Counterbalance. But otherwise, I'd probably pass on it. If you're wanting like a god roll, if you're wanting a god roll for this, something like braced frame, high caliber rounds, and Hidden Hand or Outlaw or Feeding Frenzy, something like that would be a fantastic perk roll to get. But like I said earlier, it's kind of hard to go wrong with this one. The only thing you want to try to avoid is reducing the equip speed too much, and you don't want to reduce the range too much. As long as you're, not messing around with that too much, I think you'll have a fantastic pulse rifle here, even if you get something like small bore, feather mag, and some other weird stuff. Like, you should be okay using this. It's a great archetype of pulse rifle, and you should definitely use it. All right, I hope you guys found this information helpful, and I'll see you in Iron Banner.